My name is Rachel Windsor, and I am a student at the School of Public Affairs at American University in Washington, D.C. Today is Monday, April 15th, 2019, and I am speaking with Claudette Colvin. I am conducting an interview with her for the course Oral Histories of the Civil Rights Movement and the Julian Bond Oral History Project. Claudette Colvin is a civil rights activist who was the first person to resist segregation on public transportation in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Miss Colvin, could you please begin by telling me a little bit about your family growing up?
Oh, a little bit about my family. My family, my father's name was, my adopted father's name was Q.P. Colvin, and my adopted mother was Mary Ann Colvin. She was my great aunt. She raised me, my great aunt, and her husband. Mm-hmm.
And did you have any siblings?
Yes. Delphine and I was adopted by my sister Delphine, and I was adopted. Those are the children by my mother's first husband, C.P. Austin. C.P. Austin. Austin, Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And and then my mother had additional children. She has 6 more girls.
Mm-hmm.
Six sisters.
Okay. And did your family often speak about segregation or issues of race when you were growing up?
Oh, sure, because that's the system we lived under.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any early memories of that?
Sure. What you're talking about, that's a broad question. The beginning of how we come from, we was brought up here as slaves up until the injustice that we suffered here as Americans, on this soil. We was second-class citizens.
Mm-hmm.
After slavery was abolished, we still were second-class citizens.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And moving forward to your actions in 1955, what was going through your mind when you were on that bus, and how did you decide to resist segregation?
Oh, that's another broad question. I kind of narrow it down like, okay, I'll tell you this, what I tell most people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was an impulsive act. It was, didn't have to rehearse for it because we lived on that system 300 every day in the year. We lived under that system, and February we celebrated Negro History Week, but it wasn't legally a month then. But the faculty members decided since we were left out of American history, that we should know about our heroes and their contribution that at that time it was called Negroes had made to the American society. Mm-hmm. And so the instructors would bring information that they from their college years, and they would give us a brief lecture of what about different people that have made significant contributions, like, in the Encyclopedia Britannica, there was only 2 African Americans in there. That were Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver. Mm-hmm. And but my instructor, Mrs. Gertie Nesbitt, and Mrs. Joseph Lawrence, the faculty members said it was kind of unorthodox in their teaching methods. Mm-hmm. And Mrs. Nesbitt had, instead of us singing Negro spirituals and reciting poems, by the poets that they had collected, like Paul Laurence Dunbar, mm-hmm. We wrote essays about the injustice that we was experiencing every day locally. So go back to the instructors. So my favorite one was Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth, the women.
Mm-hmm.
And well, they even talked about other men that we didn't even know about, but we all knew about George Washington Carver and Booker T. Washington, because that's what the name of my school was Booker T. Washington, named after Booker T. Washington. And so we would discuss their contributions that they had made, and instead we would write essays and about the local injustice. You know, like, did you read my book, Claudette Colvin, Twice Toward Justice?
I have not.
Well, I suggest that you read that book.
Absolutely,
Get that book by Phil Holes.
Okay.
And he's going to tell you that at that particular time, several things was going on with unfair treatment to the American citizens, Negro citizens.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as the students, we were just angry because we wasn't allowed to try on clothes in the department store, and we couldn't go to the movies, and the local events.
Mm-hmm.
Such as the rodeo and the circus. When the circus come into town, they only gave us one day. Mm-hmm. And we didn't really get the full day. We would go to half day. We had to go to school, and after recess, we had the rest of the evening off to go to the Coliseum. And, we were still treated unfairly. You could see the differences because we didn't get to see the main act. I wanted to see when the young lady walked the tightrope.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really get a chance to see that act because that was eliminated because that was too early. So anyway, we was treated that at a lot. We was shortchanged on a lot of those local events as a teenager that we wanted to go attend to, but we couldn't. And we had the money, but because of the color of our skin, we wasn't allowed.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this was going through my mind. So, but at that moment, I wasn't sitting in the front of the bus like people said. I was sitting in the seats that was allowed for colored people. At that time, we were called colored. There was an arrow pointing to the rear said colored, and an arrow pointing to the front said white, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was sitting in the last seat, right next to the emergency exit. There was one seat above the emergency exit. That's where I was sitting. And I boarded a bus on that's right across the street from Dr. King Church. I think that's Decatur Street, Decatur and Dexter
mm-hmm.
is where Dr. King's Church is located, and the bus proceeded on downtown too. But I wasn't arrested until I got to building commerce. You see the long distance, how the conversation and the dialogue between the passioners, the altercation between the passioners and the white passioners and the colored
mm-hmm.
people. So I had time to think. So, and they pushed me to the level where I was thinking about, I said, what it felt like. One reporter said, what did it feel like? Why did you move? And then when the bus driver asked you to get up,
mm-hmm.
move to the rear, I said, I was glued, his history had me glued to the seat. They said, history? Oh, how is that? I had to explain to what I really meant. I said, it felt as though Harriet Tubman hand was pushing me down on one shoulder, and Sojourner Truth hand was pushing me down on another. These power images of these women was in my mind. These two women was in my mind because my instructor had really discussed that about how Harriet Tubman had the Underground Railroad. Mm-hmm. And the children was wondering, wow, that she said she had to explain to her that the Underground Railroad was the safe houses that the abolitionists helped protect the African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Jada Schultz, how she was a voice, a militant voice, to let the people know that she wasn't satisfied with how we was being treated.
Mm-hmm.
So those two women, and how my instructor had discussed this with us. I knew that I said I couldn't take it anymore. This is my chance. This is my chance to make my voice heard.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what do you recall about being arrested and your time in jail before you were bailed out?
Oh, this was the most horrible. Well, it really was. People say a milestone in my life.
Yeah.
Yes, because it never was erased, and I tried to push it forward, and couldn't push it backwards, and couldn't push my decision forward. My actions and how it affected me mentally and physically and financially,
mm-hmm.
in every way. I was saying that I was glad that Miss Nesby had taught us about Edgar Allan Poe. We were studying when I was arrested. She didn't go directly like how the Board of Education, whatever she thought, she picked out for us to discuss. She thought it was interest us and keep our attention. So she picked out Edgar Allan Poe. And I'm glad she did because Edgar Allan Poe points his writing was kind of eerie. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I said it was very horrible. When I said it felt like an old Western. If you ever seen an old Western movie, when the bandits thrown in the jail cell,
mm-hmm.
and in those days, it's not like now where the remote system have it now, and you can hear the keys go click.
Mm-hmm.
So I could hear it go click. So that sound still, even to this day, I can hear it still vividly embedded in my memory. Mm-hmm. The sound of that key going click. I knew I was locked in, and so I started being a Baptist. I started praying, saying the 23rd Psalm, repeating this, repeating it. Oh, and every Bible verse I had memorized. I just had to do something to get my mind off of the situation that I was in because I didn't know the student was going to tell it. My parents, get in touch with my parents. But luckily they did.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And what was your family's reaction?
My family, they wasn't really surprised because I had been talking about this, all the unfair treatment, and I had started wearing my hair in cornrows instead of trying to braid it, straighten it. It was a hot comb. We only had a hot comb in Partney, so I said I wasn't going to kill myself. I was trying to straighten my hair.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had the typical African hair, so
mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to. So anyway, I had Jeremiah Reeves, one of my neighbors, and my classmate.
Mm-hmm.
He was on death row for supposed to be a serial rapist. But what he was on death row for, he was having a relationship with a white woman,
mm-hmm.
and that was against the law in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
But he was arrested. Now he didn't he didn't go to trial. That lady that he was where they arrested him, she didn't testify. It was 6 other women that said he was a serial rapist. They framed him. A serial rapist during the summer months, when we was on vacation out of school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened. I was so hurt about Jeremiah, too. Jeremiah Reeves.
Yeah.
Later if you get the book, you'll find out later they executed him. They waited till he got old enough to be electrocuted in 1958. They electrocuted him.
Mhm.
So it wasn't. My parents wasn't really shocked. They knew. My dad said, oh, you put us in a lot of danger. And so my dad had that night. We were threatened that we might have some repercussions from the KKK.
Mhm.
So my dad said, if they come in and try to get you, he sit up all night. He said with a shotgun, loaded shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he said he wasn't going to let them take me. And I knew my dad was a good shot because he was harvest. He was in the winter, in the hunting season.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I depended. I felt secure that my dad and all of my neighbors stayed on the watch out for them because we lived right off the highway, so we could see who was coming in, and who was, So we kept watch all that night, but nothing happened.
Mhm. And what was the reaction from the community? Did you find that they supported you from what you had done?
No, not at that time. It was too raw. It was too early. They was afraid.
Mhm. And so I know that you were one of the plaintiffs in the Supreme Court case Browder versus Gayle. So what was your experience during the court case?
Oh, it was very, I can't hardly explain. It was I don't know, it was one of the most, I guess, significant things that I did contributed to the civil rights movement, the Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
Without that case, the bus boycott wouldn't have been successful. The four women who made that Montgomery bus boycott successful, the plaintiffs. Yes.
And Fred Gray was the lawyer for your case. Are there any interactions that you had with him that particularly stick out for you?
No, everything was very professional with him. He was very professional. He was very brilliant and very professional. And he and his, at that time, his fiance came to our house and discussed the case with my mother and father and myself, so what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, briefing,
Yes. And so, what happened in your life in the years following all of this?
Well, it affected my life. I was finally, I was voluntarily exiled because I couldn't find work, and that's what happened.
And so that's why you left Alabama?
Yes.
And was that difficult moving up to New York?
Yes.
What was the most difficult part about that?
Leaving my family.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving my family, yeah.
Were you able to see them often when you made the move afterwards?
Only when I got vacation, that's how that was,
Mm-hmm. And so I read that you became a nurse after you moved up to New York. So what made you decide to be a nurse and pursue that career?
I didn't become. I was a nursing assistant. I applied, but at that time, I found out that it was take too much of my time, and I couldn't do it in work. And my son, I had two sons, two children out of wedlock. They were 4 years apart, and my youngest son, he was doing so well, so I said, let him go ahead on and finish his career, and I backed my son, and so I'm glad I did. I reaped some of the fruit of my labor because he's finishing. And as of today, he's teaching in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Mm-hmm. What does he teach?
Business.
Oh, that's great. And so, how would you like to be remembered for your impact on the civil rights movement?
That's I remember well. Since it was spontaneous as the spark, I was just a little spark that ignited a fire that spread it to cry for justice throughout the whole United States.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with me? It could be about anything that you want.
For number one, that we live in a capitalistic society, and on a capitalism, money counts. And without the proper resources, you can't go too far without the proper resources, enough resources. And the struggle continues, and I would like for the minorities, the first step is basic education. And I'm not talking about just high school education. I'm talking about, get the basic education, and it can be used as a tool for your future, for whatever you're trying to acquire. You can use it as a tool, education, because we're not going to get to financially, we just make enough to survive, just enough to survive. We do not have enough extra resources. So, as a poor person, a low-income person, take advantages of all the resources that you have. Well, that's for the young people, because the old civil rights giant and the veterans are to be ashamed that we did all the struggle and all this was in vain. Take advantage of it and continue to fight.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
That's the reason why I say that, because based on my family, using my family as an example, I don't have any money. I don't have any resources. I'm living on Social Security and pension. So, but I can thank God that I'm not boasting. My grandchildren, all of them avoided somehow not to get caught up in the criminal justice system, because you might go that try to make fast money, but you have to pay the price. Most young children, I see it happening in this statistics goes up every day. More young black men and girls are being incarcerated for drugs, and those that don't get incarcerated are dead. So we lose, and it's like the old commercials for the school college. We have a lot of potential, but if you don't use it, it goes to waste. So I just want the young people to know that, to keep struggling. It's not going to be slow, but you'll be more successful in the long run, because I have 5 grandchildren. All of them didn't get caught up in the criminal justice system, and they got basic education and they got careers. So they're still struggling, just like all the people of color. We don't have stocks and bonds in Wall Street. We just struggling. So this is a capitalistic society. So the struggle is every day.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to this interview, and it has been an honor to speak with you and talk about your experiences, and I find everything that you've done to be very inspiring, and I'm glad that you were willing to talk to me about it.
Well, I'm glad I'm glad that you could tell my story. I'm glad there's another person that can tell my story.